Let's hope I don't get cut off in this video. Cassia B. Critique of the Power of Judgment, Immanuel Kant, Cambridge edition. We are section 3, I guess, part 16, I believe, page 114, I know. And we're just going to keep going because I want to go to bed. The judgment of taste through which an object is declared to be beautiful under the condition of a determining concept is not pure. There are two kinds of beauty: free beauty, policitudo vaga, or merely adherent beauty, policitudo adherens. The first presupposes no concept of which the object ought to be. The second does presuppose such a concept and the perfection of an object in accordance with it. The first are called self-subsisting beauties of this or that thing. The latter is adhering to a concept, conditioned beauty. They are ascribed to objects that stand under the concept of a particular end. Flowers are free, natural beauties. Hardly anyone other than the botanist knows what sort of things a flower is supposed to be, and even the botanist who recognizes in it the reproductive organs of the plant pays no attention to this natural end if he judges the flower by means of taste. Thus, this judgment is not grounded on any kind of perfection of an internal purposefulness to which the composition of it manifold is related. Many birds, the parrot and the hummingbird, the parrot, the hummingbird, the birds of paradise, and a host of marine crustaceans are beauties in themselves, which are not attached to the determinate object in accordance with the concept regarding its end, but are free and pleased for themselves. Thus, a designed a la grecque, foliage for borders or on wallpaper, etc., signifies nothing by themselves. They do not represent anything, no object under a determinate concept, and are free beauties. One can also count as belonging to the same what are called in the music fantasies without a theme, indeed all music without a text. In judging of free beauty according to mere form, the judgment of taste is pure, no concept and end for which the manifold should serve the given object, and thus with the latter should represent its presupposed, by which the imagination, which is as it were at play in the observation of shape, would merely be restricted. By the beauties of human being and the species of that man or woman or child, the beauties of a horse, of a building such as a church, a palace, an arsenal, or a garden house, presuppose a concept of the end that determines what the thing should be, hence a concept of its perfection, thus merely adherent beauty. Now, just as the combination of the agreeable of sensation with beauty, which properly concerns only form, hindrance of the purity of judgment of taste, so that the combination of the good that is in the way which the manifold is good for the thing itself is accordant to an end with the beauty that does damage to its purity. One would be able to add such a building that would be pleasing to the intuition of it only if it were supposed to be a church. A figure could be beautified with all sorts of curlicues and lights, but regular lines, as the New Zealanders do with their tattooing, if only it were not human beings, and the latter could have much finer features and more pleasing, softer outlines to its facial structure only if it were not supposed to be representing a man or even a warrior. Now, the satisfaction of the manifold in a thing in relation to the internal purpose that determines its possibility is satisfaction grounded on concept. The satisfaction is beauty, however, is one that presupposes no concept, but is immediately combined with the representation through which the object is given, not through which it is thought. Now, if the judgment of taste is irregular to the latter, it is made dependent on the purpose of the former, the judgment of reason, and thereby restricted, then no longer a free and pure judgment of taste. To be sure, taste gains this by combining aesthetic satisfaction with the intellectual, and that becomes fixed, and though not universal, can have rules prescribed to it in regards certain purposefully determinate objects, but in that case these are also not rules of taste, but merely rules of unification for the taste of reason, i.e. the beautiful with the good, through which the former becomes usable as an instrument of intention with regard to the latter, so that the determinate of the mind that sustains itself and is of subjective universal validity can underlie that which can only be sustained through the strenuous resolve, but is subjectively universally valid. Strictly speaking, however, perfection does not gain by beauty, nor does beauty gain by perfection. Rather, since the comparing the representation by which an object is given to us with the object in regards to that. In regards to what it ought to be, we cannot avoid the same time holding it together with the subject an entire faculty for the powers of representation gain both the states of mind and agreement. A judgment of taste in regards to an object with a determinate and internal end would thus be pure only if the person is making the judgment either had no concept of this end or abstracting from it in his judgment. But in that case, though this person would have made a correct judgment of taste in that he would have judged the object as free beauty, he would nevertheless be criticized and accused of a false taste by someone else who considered beauty of the object only as inherent property, who looked to the end of the object, even though they both judge correctly in their way, the one on the basis of what he has before his senses, the other on the basis of what he has in his thoughts. By means of this distinction, one can settle many disputes about beauty between judges of taste by showing them what one is concerned with free beauty and the other is inherent beauty, at first making pure the second applied judgment of taste. Okay. Bye.